squad took Major 4 by storm. But can they run up another W? It's time to find out. Los Angeles, make some noise for the hometown team, your LA Thieves. Give it up for Octane, Drazah, Kenny, and Envoy, your Major 4 champions.
Coming in hot over the Major 4 win. We'll see if the LA Thieves can continue the strong momentum coming in the champs, going back to back, seemingly an impossible task on Vanguard. But these boys, they take it. They will get the job done here. Let's find out how they fare. Guy, next team's up.
Yeah, let's find out how they fare, because the next team coming to the stage got so much grit. Let's see what Boston is all about.
Methodz, TJHaly, and Nero. Let's meet them. Boston Breach.
Take a look at the stats. Yeah, Methodz is doing well and the stats are pretty, but what does that mean if you can't beat the best?
How did you feel coming into this? Well, I felt pretty, I think Nameless kind of hit the nail on the head. I was feeling Boston, just with Vivid on the team now.
Vivid's got some serious fire under him.
I introduce to you the Boston Breach.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the Boston Breach. Give it up for Vivid, Methodz, TJHaly, and Nero, your Boston Breach.
The youngest team addition in the CDL, still with a lot to prove. A lot of eyes on Nero, the only rookie on the stage right now. They've shocked a lot of us this year, but the job is not done yet. And what better to start it than getting a revenge against the LA Thieves, who have had their number all year, Blaze. I'm ready to get this match started.
I'm ready to get it started as well. Can Boston get it done? Well, we're about to find out, and I can't think of two better casters to break down all the action. Lando Study, take it away.
Thank you so much, Blaze, and I tell you what, Galen Center, I'm ready. Finally. I don't remember who's playing anymore. Thank God we just did the introductions for the teams, because I forgot who was playing.
I know, it threw me off when I walked in this morning and Joe DeLuca was wearing the same exact shirt as me, but other than that, like a 45, 50-minute wait. Finally, the game is gonna get started, man.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I am excited. Well, we got LA Thieves, Boston Breach, two teams who are, I guess, are kind of on opposite sides of the spectrum right now.
100%. LA Thieves obviously at Major 4. They were playing perfect Call of Duty. They started off by 3-1ing Atlanta FaZe, then 3-0ing Toronto Ultra. They lose that series to New York, but then they bounce back all the way in the grand finals to walk away the champion. So they're definitely the best team currently at this event. On the opposite side for Boston Breach, it's been kind of difficult for them because throughout stage 4 they were dominant. They go 4-1 ever since adding to this tournament, but then when they went to that Major 4, they only get a top 8 placing. Wasn't expecting that from a strong Boston Breach team, especially with the SMG presence that they have now. But this is basically a David versus Goliath kind of matchup. The history between both of these two teams has not been favored at all in Boston. They only won one map, and it was Gabutsu Hardpoint, and unfortunately for them, that's not in the series.
Yeah, it is not going to be in this series, and I guess kind of in topic with the map conversation as well. Jay, I know it's been a long time since we have seen the maps, but this is the one that we're going to kick this bad boy off with. Tuscan Hardpoint Talk to me, buddy. Why is this map specifically so important for this series, specifically for the side of the Breach?
This map is so important for the Breach because obviously with this new roster, they have been struggling in Search and Destroy. LA Thieves at Major 4, they were slow and steady wins the race, turned up to a whole different level in that mode. But when you're talking about the respawns in this one, LA Thieves have their best 2 hardpoints and their best control. So if you are Boston Breach, this usually was an auto veto for this squad.
Yeah.
You have to come out and you have to make a statement, especially with young talent on their team. This is Nero's very first chance, so the jitters are going to be there. But if you can answer early, get some momentum going into this map number 2, this is where I think Boston Breach need a strike.
I think too, it doesn't really help. I guess if you're Boston, considering you got some younger players on the team, 3 out of these 4 players were not at champs last year, and now you have the decent gap before we headed into their very first brawl here on the Tuscan P1 we go, and it's Breach starting things off well.
That's good stuff from Breach, starting off on the better side. At least are initially able to get some good time. 30 seconds and counting. You see Thieves, they're just trying to set up for this pinch, trying to play a couple trades, but as long as Boston Breach are winning those engagements, they should be okay. 25 seconds remaining on P1, but if you're the Thieves, you're not going to be too aggressive and potentially flip those spawns, not be fully set up for the next one.
You gotta be careful for it. However, they decide to send their forces forward. More specifically, Kylo Ken, ready as ever. The SMG, he wants to put it to good use. Had an incredible run at Major 4, and Jay, it feels like if he's playing well, sky is the limit for this Thieves team as they hold on to spawn.
Yeah, if he's playing well, especially with that SMG in his hand, you know what your ARs are going to give you in Drazah and Octane. But when Kenny with that SMG, if he turns up to a whole different level, that's what showed LA Thieves being the best team in the game. But early on in towards this P2, the pressure's going to be here from Nero. This is a guy who I really wanted to focus on. In your rookie year, making your very first chance, you have to come out and make a statement.
You gotta make a statement. We saw Pred do it earlier. Nero trying to do the same. Eventually does get taken down. Vivid, next line of defense, trying to cut down a few players. Envoy enters in toward the line of sight for a sack. However, Boston still knocking on the door, but keep in mind, Thieves have really yet to get a foot in this.
Yeah, they're not really getting a lot of time. Right there, Methodz with that nade, and then eventually finds a second with the gun. Allows LA Thieves to not get any time,
Okay.
but Envoy shuts the pressure down from bottom church. Finds himself on a 4-spree. Now the final 15 seconds is going to go in favor of the Thieves, but now it's all about this rotation. More bodies. Right now, at least in favor of the Thieves, with trades going back and forth, it's going to be the early rotation for Methodz.
We know that Thieves, considering the play style that this roster has, it's not always the best when it comes down to breaking, considering the ARs that they've got at their back. But Drazah puts the AR away, puts the SMG to use, and the teamwork is perfect. Boston, being a little bit late on the rotation, had somebody stationed back there. He gets cut away, and watch the Thieves start to thrive. So good at locking down these hard points. They've got the communication in mind as well. TJ, a solid effort, but ultimately dropped as well.
Yeah, right there was just Boston Breach not having enough bodies off that rotation. Methodz was the only player that sneaks through all the way to the back. Unfortunately, he gets sniffed out, and LA Thieves just had more presence on that side of the map to get this initial time. But 30-point game, Boston are able to execute the break. Spawns do not flip. Thieves still spawning over towards that roof side, but this is much needed time for Boston.
This is great. Maybe an opportunity for Nero to start to grab a little bit of confidence, having himself a solid game up to this point. Before he hits the deck, sits at 10 and 7. Meanwhile, Thieves, great gunfight victory on the Kenny, will grab the scraps, and now it is about the rotation. Nero, once more our player to talk about. He gets taken down from the back. Same thing said for Methodz as well. Thieves win the gunfights they have to and set up shop at church.
So now they're initially here for the setup, but they have to win their gunfights early too, going in favor of Boston. Pressure is going to be in towards the back. Octane does not get timing right there, so Vivid picks up that kill. Even though the spawns are in for LA Thieves, still in control of the hard point is going to be Boston. TJ, great shots, finds himself on a 6-spree. Pick up this glide bomb, it can be so massive.
And this is the thing that we were talking about, Jay. Boston, why are you not playing Tuscan?
Yeah.
We can see the skill already with this roster. You've got some very fast-paced and aggressive players who just got yourself a glide bomb as well. TJ coming out of the gate hot. And with that, Boston will have the streak and are looking good as the lead changes in.
They're looking great. Final 15 is going to be here for P4. So if you are LA Thieves, you have to cut your losses, set up properly for that P5. Great nade from Kenny to take down Vivid. To not give all this remaining junk time to Boston, but again, it's going to be the Thieves early off the rotation. They just need to get a good hold right now. Every single time Boston Breach are getting a couple kills to execute the break, and it's working out perfect.
See if Boston can make the break. As we said, they've got that streak in their back pocket. Probably not going to invest it for P5. Already weathered. Somewhat taken down to the Thieves, battered and bruised, but they stay alive. Octane, after a slower start to this game, starting to pick up the pace. Now sits on the 4-spree, taking players down through walls. Nero there to greet him. But again, it is the Thieves getting some much-needed seconds, holding off this Boston front.
Yeah, this is a beautiful setup. They're continuously pushing out towards church side. You have one player in Kenny who's the cutoff man, just not allowing anyone to sneak through the bottom of that hard point or even overextend to top fire. This has been a great hold from LA Thieves, basically a flawless hold for the final 20 coming about. 3 kills do go in favor of Boston, so they're going to be able to get this remaining time. But once again, LA Thieves fully set up off the rotation for P1, and that's usually their money hill when they're not starting off on the bad side. 90% hold rate going into this P1.
Yeah, and that's a scary sight. Normally, you know, Call of Duty fans, when we expect hardpoint, P1, not normally. We're going to see a lot of time be gained on Tuscan. That is not at all the case. And you see the investment coming in from TJ. Glide bomb storms on through, and that could be the opening that Boston are looking for.
That could be the opening, but Nero at least finds one. The spawns do flip. LA Thieves not getting the better side, but Octane at least finds to release some kind of pressure. As long as you're Boston Breach, just keep them off of this time as much as you can. 2 kills go in favor of their side. TJ with the beams, able to find 3 in a row before he gets naded by Octane. But so far, this is great work from Boston Breach to not allow LA Thieves to run away with this game.
Yeah, it's a great break and a very timely one at that. Methodz trying to stay down, waits for the challenge, and it's Octane who comes away with 2. Envoy will find the 3rd in a much-needed break. Coming in from the LA Thieves, Octane, who started off 6 and 12, has picked up his level of play as these two Titans continue to battle back and forth. It is a team nade that comes through from Boston. Regardless of that, they will hold the spawns as we head in toward Column, but they've got to be aware of Drazah.
They have to be aware of Drazah. He's going to try to cause them some problems. Picks up the SMG, and that's going to be all 4 dead. Now all of Boston Breach continuously spawning towards the back. You just have to win a couple of these gunfights. It's LA Thieves. They're able to take the lead right on back. Envoy going to be the player on towards point, but as long as these kills keep getting traded, Boston Breach need to open up with this nade.
Here comes Utility. Tactical's tossed. Somewhat battered right now as Envoy, lived on 20 HP. Got a few teammates around him as this lead continues to build. 3 down, make it 4 down in the feed for Breach. And right now, Jay, it just feels like the pace of the game has started to slow down and favor the boys in red. Drazah started things off well. Envoy instantly hopped inside of the hard point. And now it is going to be a last-second battle for these final few seconds. And Breach, thankfully, a timely break.
Yeah, and that's not good, though, if you're LA Thieves, because now you're late off the rotation. The spawns do flip, so
Take a look at
towards the back. And Vivid, he's going to be the early player here from Boston Breach. Not able to finish that kill onto Envoy. Now you have to get out with your life, because there's 4 Thieves players trying to attack this from mid.
He really wanted to have that gunfight victory. Thankfully, a few of those squad spawns come on in. Vivid, come on! There you go! That's all you needed! Puts that MP40 to good use and eventually gets evaporated by the nade. Breach, granted off of, you know, a few streaky shots from Vivid, he stays alive. And ultimately, Jay, that's the reason why Breach are about to reclaim the lead themselves.
Yeah, they just controlled the spawns the entire time, even with Vivid not getting the kill at the right time. But Boston Breach, such a back and forth game, are able to take the lead once again. A whole lot of pressure from LA Thieves coming in from field. Kenny and Octane combined for 2. A huge one-on-one from Nero. He's going to be able to secure this remaining time, at least give his team the spawn, so they can close out on this final 20 seconds and potentially give themselves a little bit more of a cushion as we get closer towards the end of this game. But you see LA Thieves with those spawns are early going to be set up for this P4. You cannot allow Boston Breach to break you through roofs again.
I gotta say, Jay, I mean, just taking a quick, you know, moment away from the game as we rotate for Church now. I mean, given the score, given the level of play, and honestly how dominant Thieves have been versus Breach, I feel like this is a very solid statement out of Boston saying that they have been working on those Tuscan hardpoints.
It definitely is, because when you come out versus a team like Thieves, who throughout Major 4, I'm pretty sure they go 4 and 5 on this map, but usually they do tremendous at that P1. That was the biggest thing that I took away, is that Boston Breach do not allow them to get a lot of time off that P1. They execute the break on towards P4. Right now, the Thieves just simply can't get a hold. Someone hold the pre-aim and win a gunfight.
Yeah, you look across the board. TJ having a great performance right now. 26 and 21 as Nero falls basically just above even. Breach continued to hold, and the Thieves start to waver a tad bit. Some unfortunate timing there for Vivid, but it turns and burns, cuts down Octane, and they've reached that double century mark. They are moving and grooving.
Boston are playing phenomenal Call of Duty right now. The SMGs are playing at a tremendous pace. They find themselves very close to closing out this map number 1, but now we're going into the P5 where Thieves, at least in the first go-around, they were able to set up beautifully to get themselves right back into this game. You have Envoy, the cutoff man, gets a 2-piece towards the middle of the map. All you have to do is hold your pre-aims with TJ and Methodz combined for 2. Huge one-on-one to try to take Envoy at the point, but Boston had more bodies here.
They have more bodies indeed, and Envoy trying to save a little bit of time for his teammates, but how about the triple? The triple kill from Vivid, and the cleanup there for Nero will be the 4 down, and Boston are feeling themselves less than 20 away from walking away with this game 1.
And they're so far pushed out towards roofs. They can still win it here. Thieves need to execute the break. Methodz was going to be the cutoff man, but as long as his teammates stay alive, Vivid and Nero, the SMG duo, can do it right now.
Oh, and Vivid cuts another one down. 1v1 victory. It'll go to him, and Boston with a statement in this opener.
That's how you come out the gates if you're Boston Breach. The underdog in this series by a hefty margin. They come out and get break after break on multiple hard points to secure themselves this map number 1. The SMGs went above and beyond. Nero and Vivid really set the tone with how aggressive that they were going to play. Great work from Vivid to at least open up with that 3-piece nade on towards P5.
That was helpful.
That was definitely helpful because usually the Thieves, they hold that one down, but when you get 3-piece naded and then eventually go 4 dead clean, you allow Boston Breach to take a little bit more map control, and that's what they were able to do this entire side, this entire map. Every time the Thieves were early off the rotation, they were set up properly, they just couldn't win their gunfights at that point. You allowed Boston to break in towards your P1, which is usually your money hill. Even towards the P4, 2 times they had those back spawns, and they just allowed Boston Breach to break through the front, break through field. You cannot allow that to happen if you're the Thieves, who normally are one of the more dominant teams in hardpoint that do not make mistakes like that.
Yeah, and that was the thing that we started to talk about, right? Was the balance across all of these game modes. The Thieves looked amazing at Major 4. The S&D improved. The control was lights out. Hardpoint did take a little bit of a back seat, but again, it was the consistency across the board for this team. And I don't want to say it gets scary, but at the same time for Boston, they looked great in that opening hardpoint, Jay. This is a team that I know historically has been great at search destroy. I know that'll be the topic of conversation, I feel like, moving into this game too, is can Boston not just be lethal at times in the hardpoints, maybe now with this Tuscan, but can they return back to form, the early season form they saw in Search?
That's the thing about it. It's just like, they do not have Capsule on this roster, who was like their best S&D player with like a 1.29. They pick up Vivid, who was struggling with Florida Mutineers in that mode. And ever since this roster has been playing a lot of Search and Destroy, the record's not the best. They usually are winning series by closing out S&Ds or losing series by not winning Search and Destroys. But now in this series, you find yourself with early momentum going up 1-0 versus our Major 4 champions. This is not the game mode for LA Thieves that has been strong all year. Recently, they have been getting better at this, and it's simply because they slowed the game down. If you're Boston Breach, at least from what we saw at Major 4, when they struggled in Search and Destroy, it was all in their SMGs. Just going out there, getting multiple first blooded. Vivid and Nero just simply could not slow down their game. And going up against a team like Thieves, who are playing for that information, playing for their neutral setup, you have to let the plays come to you.
Yeah, you absolutely have to do that. Again, when we talk about the LA Thieves, our Major 4 champions, it's you know, it's kind of rattled the confidence a little bit, but we know this team, Jay. Like, we listen to the team comms and we just watch the content pieces that come in from the Los Angeles Thieves, like YouTube channel and stuff. These guys are always feeling good. They got the crowd behind them. I would say if a few of these rounds start to get away from them, though, in the S&D, that may be where panic mode is reached. But again, you're looking across the stage at this Boston team, a roster who we said very well could be a little bit nervous coming into this matchup. Nero did not look that way at all. Definitely makes us, I think we're in for a good series,
We're definitely in for a good series because, like you said, Nero in his rookie year, no jitters from him in that map, number 1. Puts up like 32 kills, just really sets the tone of how aggressive Boston Breach are going to play. And even to touch on more of his teammates, Methodz and TJ, they were not at champs last year. You had TJ, who was with the Thieves roster. Unfortunately, he got dropped right before the event. And then you had Methodz, who was on Toronto Ultra, and unfortunately, he got dropped in the beginning of the year and couldn't play at this one as well. So it's a lot of fight for this Boston Breach team, and hopefully, at least off that map number 1, they're playing with a lot of confidence as well.
Yeah, and you know, again, when we talk about this Boston Breach team, again, I mean, when we talk about the group of players that they have, a lot of interesting stories across the board. 2 vets, 2 younger players. I know Vivid's been around for a little bit now, but at the same notion, franchise's first ever Call of Duty championships. They want to have a solid performance. And it is this interesting storyline, this interesting clash that we have. LA Thieves, a roster that expects excellence, who has been in the Call of Duty scene for a very long time. On the other side for Boston, a totally different story, you know, a very fresh face when we talk about the COD scene, looking to make a statement, and boy, was that game 1 a statement indeed. And I know we talked about it too. DJ, you know, dropped from the LA Thieves last year. Maybe there's a little bit of something going on. Maybe some spice, considering he's looking at a few boys across the stage, making me think, hey, I wasn't able to make it to the champs last year because of you guys.
Yeah, TJ's definitely playing with some extra fire. When you're going up against one of your old rosters, I'm telling you, at least from experience, there's nothing better than that. I did it every single time Nameless dropped me on my neck. I beat him in a clean 3-0, 3-1. Did not matter. It's just a different kind of fire when you're playing against your old team. But if you are Boston Breach on this map, they struggle with their attacking rounds. The best thing for them is when they're going towards B, which they have a 43% win rate. It's not really the best. And then for the Thieves, they're great on their defense, but they dominate on their A attacks. A 63% win rate with a 63% first blood. So if you're Boston Breach, allow the plays to develop. Do not get early picked.
Really just try to keep this momentum flowing as well. If you're Boston, man, they'll look to do the exact opposite of that. Give his team maybe an early pick would be Octane. We know the stats with him when it comes down to having that sniper in his hands. In Desert Siege, quite literally could be the playground. Maybe a pixel spotted across the desert. Maybe it was a mirage. Who exactly knows? Nivit tosses out the nade regardless and manages to escape with his life. But the Kobe lands.
Kobe is in for that first blood, and Nero unfortunately cannot put them in a man advantage. The trade does come in from Envoy, but Vivid there for the trade. Already too early kills
Wow!
Vivid, but Drazah answers with 2 of his own. Now it's all left up to Methodz. Bomb gonna be down towards those B steps, but still a lot of time to work with.
Oh, but he doesn't cut down Drazah. At least has the stun for information, tosses out the nade, says a prayer. Unfortunately for him, Vivid's luck will not be granted for Zinni. Bomb attained, 25 seconds to go. Just gonna spot the clip from the sniper, tags up Octane, putting in constant bullets to the opposition, but LA Thieves will secure our first round off of a highlight and a half out of Drazah.
Yeah, right there, Boston Breach. They open up with that first blood, but then it's immediately traded. Vivid finds a second, turn it into a 3v2, but that allows, when you're putting a lot of aggression towards that B side, you eventually allow Drazah to be aggressive through trains. He finds that opening 2, gets out with his life, and plays the 2v1 perfectly for LA Thieves to take round number 1.
It was a hat trick as well for Drazah. Not only does he find those 2, but he also cuts down Methodz at the end. A solid start there for Hazard. Deep cut there, Jay. I'll let you know that.
His name backwards.
It is. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like that. Oh, okay. Thought that one was about to land. Felt that one in my chest.
Unfortunately, he's not able to hit the shot. The Thieves, they've gained a lot of information of how Boston Breach are going to potentially be setting up around this site. The bomb is slowly going to creep up towards that B-bomb. You have Boston full control of top palace. What kind of information can Octane get as the bomb is going down?
Bomb planted! How about the flick from Octane? And he could have another one lined up. Only 2 more members to go. Very well could be a shooting gallery. Oh, Kenny wanted that last one a bit of a heat check as TJHaly position known. 30 seconds left. A bomb still to try and defuse. You can chalk this one up. Thieves are gonna grab our second one.
Just too easy right there for the Thieves. Slow and steady wins the race. They get the information. But one player pushed out towards lower trenches. They back that player down. Eventually, they work the site.
Ooh-wee.
When you're hitting shots like this, shout out my guy Chance. He don't miss with that sniper in his hand. I'm pretty sure 1.9 in search and destroy when he's running that sniper at hand. It shows it right there in that round number 2.
Yeah, we just saw exactly why that is the case. LaRue put that bad boy to use, and the Thieves quickly turn the momentum now into their corner. Up 2 rounds to 0. Boston in major need of an answer. Will come into this 3rd round back on the attack, and Octane will strike once more.
He's just lining them up. Another first blood going in favor of the Thieves. That's 2 so far out of 3 rounds. But I don't know if he was able to spot that player towards lower trenches. Side bomb is going to be down. Right now, if you're Boston Breach, just trying to get some information of how these players are going to be playing it. At least work a pick. TJ's able to spot Drazah, not able to get the kill, but it sets up Methodz to find that one and make it a 3v3.
Yeah, great work out of the vets to coordinate. The second blood, if you will, in this round now brings things to a 3v3. Envoy reveals his position and fades off into the distance. With 40 seconds left, still time to work with, but Vivid making his way up through the desert. May find himself a great and timely pick. Unfortunately, it is going to cost one of his teammates. Now 2v2. That bomb is still down on B. Nobody gets a grab.
I'm still down on B, but look how aggressive Methodz is getting through that A side. Just walks right by Octane, but Octane with the pistol.
No.
Not able to pick up the kill. But if you're Boston Breach, someone's got to commit towards the plant. Someone has to grab that bomb and plant it towards B, and this is where Envoy can strike.
Envoy looks to strike. Bomb gets planted. Oh, he loses the fight. He loses the fight. And now it is all on to Octane, a 1v2. It has been highlights throughout our first 2 rounds where we can see one again. Not for the Thieves, but a staggering kill there from Boston puts them up on the board.
And that's a tough one because you got to keep in mind, if Octane picks up that kill with the pistol onto Methodz, it's 2v1 in their favor. But even if Vivid isn't planning towards the outside of that bomb, Envoy probably gets that kill, but great heads-up play from him to win that huge one-on-one. And in the forced play that come to them, Boston Breach get one on the board.
And what's so weird, we saw like Afro do that on this very map, in this same situation to Pred earlier. Know what it is about that B bomb site here on Siege. Nades tossed out again, and the sniper will look to rain out once more for Octane. And he will strike onto Tej. Oh, and Vivid narrowly escapes with his life. Gets tagged up, but ultimately not dropped. Thieves still with man count advantage, looking to body stack, and who knows, maybe make a play over toward that A site. Vivid runs up toward top market, eventually found out. He's gonna put him on skates, not gonna happen. Another pick, and a timely one at that for Thieves as the forces continue to get cut down. That was a comfortable one.
Just another first blood from Octane with that snipe. You're putting that pressure on towards B, you're forcing the players who are playing that A bomb to rotate back. LA Thieves, they group up towards Trayton's side. They were aggressive, trying to work that bomb plant, but they were able to take down Vivid on the flank and then slowly pick them apart. So that was 4 up, 4 down. Very clean round right there from the Thieves to go up 3-1.
This is a Boston team who has struggled with this new roster on Desert Siege specifically. And so often we talk about the SMGs. Right now for Nero, 0-4. Vivid having a much better performance at 5-3, but DJ at least able to find the pick. Bomb goes down as well. Back-to-back headshots while Drazah looks to make a play in the flank. This round basically comes down to him, Jay.
Yeah, Octane also has a sniper in hand, so you're waiting for Drazah to make a play, but he does get sniffed out. So now multiple players from Boston are gonna put their focus on him. He's the last one up. He's one shot, and that was a very clean round right there from Boston. This time TJ gets the better in the first blood column. Opens up with that one. Eventually they find the second, you get the bomb down. You know Octane has a sniper in hand, you solo him out and then put all your focus on the player on the flank. Very clean round right there from Boston.
Yeah, much needed one at that. As we said, this team has seen a lot of struggles in Search and Destroy as of late with this new roster change. 4-8 in all of Major 4. I mean, at different times, we've called this team one of the best S&D teams in the entire game. They've changed their game plan around, but when it comes down to champs, sometimes you toss the stats out the window and just hope that you can be as consistent as possible. As we enter in toward this round, all eyes on the Octane once more. Vivid still looking to continue on his reign of terror. So he'll lay down some nice shots, but nobody yet to drop.
No one yet to drop. Hold on. And it is putting down a couple shots. I thought Octane was going to be able to take that shot there. To actually execute another first blood, but spot CJ not able to hit the shot. Vivid with the first blood. So now Boston Breach in the 4v3. Time is starting to tick. 50 seconds to work with if you are the Thieves. But you have to at least play for this B side. Look at the positioning right now from Drazah.
Drazah's going to make the play, but Nero spots him. Nero will spot him. Thieves now down 2 members. Still with the bomb in hand, 35 seconds left. There's really not a ton of information to work off of. Envoy, a timely pick. Will bring these numbers ever closer, but Nero with information will now leave Octane all by his lonesome, a 1v3 that will most likely put us at 3-3 territory. Breach come roaring back and bring us to a level score.
It's just good not getting first blooded. You're forcing Octane to mainly focus towards that B site. Great work right there from TJ to not give that one up. Allows Vivid to get that first blood, and then when players try to attack towards that site, this is where you have multiple players on Boston Breach just ready for that bomb plant at any given moment. Even when Envoy finds that kill, player slides down B steps, force it into a 3v1, and right now they're just not really focusing on Octane. They're leaving this guy alone. They're focused on everyone else, just trying to leave him the last alive, and it's been working out.
It has these last few. Got some passionate fans out here. I love to hear
100%.
that. I love to hear that. Octane, oh my goodness, he and Nero strike at the exact same time. No first blood, no problem. Envoy comes away with a nice pick himself. 2v2, bomb down, breach. 40 seconds left to defend.
They know the positioning of Nero. Unfortunately, Kenny runs out of bullets. He's able to find that kill, but TJ finds another one. So now in a 1v1, you know the positioning of Kenny. 30 seconds to work with. The shots are gonna come in, and TJ, the original Iceman, so far having himself one hell of a series. At Major 4, he puts up a .85. So far, he's clutching up in search and destroy for the team Boston Breach. Now up 4-3.
TJ the DJ.
Okay.
Changing the tone in a very, very interesting round. And maybe in that headset, he's bumping feeling like TJ at this moment. He's felt right in that gunfight. And as we said, somewhat of a rivalry game for good old TJHaly, facing off against his old teammate, maybe somebody with a hand. And him not being with the roster last year at Champs. Sits at 4 and 5. His player number 7, Vivid, looks to strike again. These teams continue to battle early and bring numbers to a level count. Current 3v3, Drazah still a bomb in hand.
And this is the first round right here where Thieves decided to attack in towards bottom castle. They find that, they don't find the first blood, but they at least even it up and make it a 3v3. Here, Boston, just look at the positioning right now. TJ, he's covering so much ground. He knows that they're committing towards this A-bomb. They're not gonna be able to read him in this position.
He's got 3 players, his hands are full.
Spots him.
Position known. Boston now with numbers and with the awareness that Tej could be striking at any moment. They try to make a bomb site rotation. In the meantime, Nero gets cut down in the crossfire. Bomb still has yet to go down to Tej. Not able to finalize the gunfight onto Drazah. 25 seconds left. And it's Octane there for the teammate support. It's all on to Tej, the man who made the flight to start off the round. It comes down to him. Maybe saves the duel for another opportunity. Pistol out, it's somehow alive. What is this round?
I don't know.
What is happening?
I have no idea. There's a lot of bullets all over the place.
That was like a 35-minute 1v2.
There's like 120 bullets and only 1 kill happened. Insane stuff right there. I thought TJ, he finds himself in a great position, at least makes it a 3v2. But once they're not committing towards that bomb plant, the rest of the Boston Breach, all you have to do is stay alive. Someone stay alive on the opposite side of your map, hold bottom palace. They have to work towards the bomb plant.
I mean, there's 40 seconds left.
Yeah.
It's a 3 versus 2. You know all the players are at that A site. One of those rounds that if you're Boston, you're gonna look back at and think, hey, was that what decided game number 2? Is that what maybe allowed for the Thieves to get back in this series as another timely first blood comes in from Octane. Drazah continuing to fry as well, has entered in to double digits. Tacticals out, and Boston, despite being in a 2 versus 3, in desperate need of a pick now, Jay.
The only thing is that bomb is down towards that A site. And Drazah and Octane, both for the ARs for LA Thieves. Perfectly set up, waiting for that push, but it's gonna be Vivid. Once again, just trying to sneak his way through. Envoy's gonna be the information. Now he tells his teammate in Octane that one player's committed towards the flank. He's ready for the gunfight. Now it's all up to Methodz. He does find one, makes it a little bit manageable in a 1v2.
Oh, it looked solid. I mean, given you're in a 1v3, just very well played out of the LA Thieves. Obviously in that 1v2, and then you called it out perfectly. Shout out to the Hot Hands Lounge as well for kind of issuing out the communication that Envoy has. Spots the player in the back, and Octane is there to finalize one of the more important rounds in this Game 2 Desert Siege. Now 5 rounds to 4. The fans eager to see Thieves get back on the board.
It's the home team. LA is representing so far. They find themselves at game point. Octane on a 4 spree. Decides to put down that sniper. Shot the AR, trying to get some early shots in towards top palace. Not able to get that first blood, but Drazah, he answers the first blood onto TJ. Octane with great shots onto Vivid, already a 4v2.
Open your own Methodz, they come away with a few. Octane, I believe, does sit on the spree. Does not earn that glide bomb as of yet. Nero will drop from the back. And LA Thieves, relying once more on that search and destroy, will pay off as they answer back in game number 2. And we have got ourselves a series now.
Right there, Boston Breach. They just kind of let that one get away from them. In that 3v2 situation, when TJ finds that initial kill, if they just stay alive, force them to get that bomb plant, it probably is going to go in their favor. But TJ was just putting out shots after shots. No one can execute that one bullet to close out any of those kills. And Thieves do what they do best, especially in Search and Destroy. Slow and steady wins the race. They play for the information. They play for the first blood. Pretty sure we're 6-4 in favor of the Thieves on first blood on this map.
Yeah.
But just that swing round where TJ finds himself in the flame. I thought he definitely could have got a little bit more once he found that first kill.
Yeah, it's like a round that you want to take a deeper dive at and wonder, how did we lose that? I mean, you have a flank inbound. TJ's in a great position. We're talking constantly about, okay, hey, TJ's going to have his hands full. He's got an excellent opportunity to make a play, and somehow, some way, the Thieves escape with that round, and now they find themselves back in this series, a 1-1 scoreline, buddy. I don't know. We talked about how important it was for Boston to walk away with that game, and given how strong the Thieves looked in that Search Destroy, I think there's a reason why.
Oh, 100%. And then now going into the second half of this series, this is Thieves' bread and butter. They have Berlin's where this is where they were able to fight back into the grand finals versus NYSL, tied the series at 2-2. This is usually where they dominate. Boston Breach, coming out and playing Berlin Control, they gotta show me something. This 2 weeks of practice has to have shown improvement in that mode.
Yeah, we hope the Tuscan hardpoint has improved. We hope the S&D, the control, everything has improved for this Boston team. Anything and everything is on the line right now. When we come back after the break, we enter in toward our third map, Berlin Control, after this break.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew and Zenny. Armor your eyes with Blocks gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL.
Day number 1 of the CDL Championship Weekend 2022 as we're live from the Galen Center in the midst of a phenomenal series going down between the LA Thieves and the Boston Breach. Jay, we get ready to enter in toward our 3rd game mode of this set, and boy, do we have an interesting one, Berlin Control.
Yeah, this one's gonna be difficult if you're Boston Breach, because with this new roster, I'm pretty sure they have not touched this map. They're overall 1-3, but that's when Capsule was on this team.
Okay.
All throughout Stage 4, even at the Major, they did not touch Berlin Control, and if you are LA Thieves, this is their bread and butter.
Yeah.
They were 4-0 throughout that Major, dominant on this map. We saw it multiple times versus NYSL. The fastest attacking rounds, the fastest defensive rounds. Boston Breach need to show me something that the practice they've been putting in this last 2 weeks is going to allow them to play this map versus a team like LA Thieves.
And Jay, the last 3 times that LA Thieves have played Berlin Control,
3-0.
it's been 3-0.
Yeah.
It's not been great. If you've been the opposition, if you've been staring down the barrel at a Berlin Control versus the Thieves, it has not gone well for you. But I don't know. I mean, stylistically, on paper, I feel like this could be a team in Boston who could see quite a bit of success at this map, and for reasons exactly like that one. Nero, hot and heavy on the flank, looks to make his presence felt. Thieves go for the early A attack, but they have been dealt an interesting hand. Some great work out of Breach to cut down 3.
Yeah, this is great work from Boston to not allow them to be super aggressive in towards A, but 2 kills do go in favor of the Thieves. Just gonna have roaming Slayers in Kenny, running around towards this A site. Well, his teammates are already setting up the flank towards fire. LA Thieves are up by 2 lives, but the pinch is gonna be here. Boston have to hold strong.
And so far, job done quite nicely. Drazah looking to make a play toward the flank. Presence felt inside of fire, and he will get handled. In the meantime, that time will stop for the moment. Paused at 42 seconds because the Thieves are currently capturing that B zone. Presence felt across the entirety of the library. Nero eager to strike. Does eventually get found out. Octane as well does get dealt an interesting hand, and a great play comes in from Boston. They make the rotation, and now the Thieves, with 35 seconds left, have 1 tick to their name.
Yeah, that was a clean 4 dead. Boston Breach right now have a lot of map control. Only 30 seconds to work with if you're the Thieves, so you have to commit towards this B point, but still, no one picking up any kills. Methodz and Vivid are able to find 2. Nero with the 3rd. Last player here is going to be Octane. His teammates are going to spawn close towards that water side, able to stop that clock. But Boston Breach, they're coming out swinging. Every single kill is in their favor. Final 15.
And a current 10 team streak right now for the Boston Breach as well. Everybody hiding. LAT cannot find out where these players are located here inside of the library. A very narrow space, but TJ and Nero do get found out. Vivid, one of the last lines of defense, tries to hold on, and the Thieves, thankfully, will break in just before the buzzer beater. Get another minute on the clock, but they had to work for everything, Jay.
Yeah, they had to work for every little inch. This Boston Breach was not going to give up anything, but that initial 2 piece is going to allow LA Thieves to get super aggressive on the map. Kenny's going to be the player, at least trying to catch a couple of these players all spawn. Methodz is going to be 1 shot, but he does get out with his life. He's trying to set up the pitch for his team. Octane does take down 1. They're eventually able to get in this point. Great collapse right there from LA Thieves.
And despite Kenny falling victim to the YYing, his teammates at least seem to be winning the majority of these gunfights. Oh, a great double comes in from Octane. Turret-like stuff here inside of the office. A few of the SMGs sit flying forward. Envoy left to try to hold things down while the ARs do the damage from across the map. Vivid able to find 2, but it's not enough of a dent, and the Thieves, despite some shakiness off the start of this round, gain some composure, win their fights. And just like that, Jay, we see why this team has been so good in control as of late.
Especially on Berlin. On their attacking rounds, they have a 60% win rate. And it showed right there. But on the opposite side for Boston Breach, I'm pretty sure it's a little bit better on their attacking side. It's probably because they haven't played the map as much as the Thieves. 75% win rate on their attacking rounds. Just the way that the Thieves are able to execute that break on towards A. They already find themselves up by a lot of segments. Just have to hold strong on defense, and Envoy with that initial 2. Trades going back and forth. Huge 1-on-1 between Envoy and Vivid.
Oh, but Octane eager to flank. How about the plays? Coming in from the main AR, just 1 away from the glide bomb. Doors open. And the window of opportunity will be granted once more for the Thieves. Octane drops off the streak, but you leave that gunfight, you leave the start of this round very happy, Jay, for Thieves.
Definitely do, because now you have a glide bomb to work with. You're still maintaining map control. Drazah is causing problems over towards that B point. And Nero eventually takes him down. They're going to be able to stop this clock. About 50 seconds, trying to extend this time, but look at Octane's positioning. He's not going to try to give this one up easy towards water side. He finds that initial kill onto Nero. Now it's all about just staying alive, maintaining this side of the map.
And Nero was just looking for a good book to read inside the library, and Octane, quite literally, the thorn in the side. One tick granted for breach, but Octane continues to knock on the door from the outside. He's going to spot Vivid. Thank you very much. Nobody is taking this guy out.
Someone's got to focus him. They got to focus Octane. He's just causing them so many problems. When trying to commit towards completing this B point. There's only 30 seconds left. They cannot close out this B capture, but that two-piece should be able to do it for Boston Breaks. Time is going to be extended by a minute. So now a minute and 36 seconds to work with, down by 2 lives. You have to try to rotate back and get some control of trains.
Threat momentarily avoided for Boston. Really, we're sitting for the gallows, if you will, to start off this round number 2, but they fire back quite nicely and are starting to get a few down in stride. One player, though, currently lingers on the flank. He gets dropped as well, and this is looking exactly like what we saw in round number 1. The Thieves were able to claim the attack, and Boston do the same.
Boston do the same, but they have to read this play on the pinch. Drazah and Kenny combined for 2, but Kenny unfortunately does take down his teammate, so that's going to be 3 dead. Drazah play on the flank. At least does take down 1, but the second tick is going to be in. Vivid trying to be aggressive towards top flat. He gets taken down, so great work from LA Thieves to stop that initial pressure, but TJ, he finds 2. Boston Breach is still here.
They are still here. They've still got numbers. TJ, the farthest pushed up player, the only member past that 50-yard line. It's Methodz, Vivid, everybody for the rest of the team looks to join him hand in hand. Envoy sacrifices his body, puts it on the line. With 58 seconds left as the dust begins to settle and bodies come off of the respawn. It is 2 ticks granted for breach. You're happy about it, but considering how that first offensive win went for the Thieves, you gotta grab this last one. Methodz starts things off with a pick as Nero looks to get aggressive.
And the lives remaining, look at it for Thieves. There's only 5 lives, and so they have no more respawns. Octane does at least find that kill onto Methodz. Pressure is going to be here from Boston, but no more respawns now for the Thieves. 3 players remaining. The pinch is going to be here for Boston Breach. Got multiple players trying to attack this from front side train, but as long as you're LA Thieves, keep the trades in your favor. Final 30 seconds, they hold strong.
20 seconds left and only 3 members of LAT to deal with, but now Kenny brings it to a 3v3, Vivid. The perfect pick, but now it's a 1v2. It is all on to Drazah to save the round and put Thieves in a commanding advantage. Waits for Boston to reveal their position, to reveal their location. While Boston don't get the 3rd tick, they get the round. And my goodness, what a dicey one it was.
Okay, Boston. That's what I'm talking about right there. They get some initial map control right off the rip. They win a couple gunfights over towards that trade side, which opens up that B point for them to extend this time, but they were just super aggressive on the map, winning a majority of their gunfights. Came back to bite Thieves. They had no more lives remaining, but if you're Drazah, at least you do not allow that segment to be complete. Thieves are still up by 1, just in case it does go round number 5.
And LAT back on the attack. Gonna do the exact same thing they did in round 1. Let's get a ton of early success at this A zone. We'll see if the script is somewhat flipped. Envoy with a great pick. TJ, only member who ends up finding a kill off the start. Eventually taken down his Methodz, and the kills continue to come in spurts. A great little situation brewing right now for LAT. Hot and heavy on this A zone as Envoy looks to get going.
Envoy's just shutting it down towards top flat, the cutoff man. Eventually he gets taken down by Vivid, but 2 ticks already completed at this A point. They can potentially close this out. Boston have to put a step on it, but Kenny does find 2. At least they do not allow that A point to get away from them, as now LA Thieves gonna put sole focus on towards this B point. Octane at least trying to cause them some problems over here towards A, but the attack is gonna come in towards B. Gonna try to extend this time.
Man, really, I mean, Octane, if he wins these gunfights, great, but at the same time, he is just limiting every single Breach player. They have to address Octane. They have to wipe him off the map. Well, his teammates are getting everything that they need done at that B zone. Octane does fall, but at the same time, as we said, it is an overall positive for LAT as the trades are inbound. That objective has yet to be captured, and it's 2 at A and B both. Boston come in and try to cancel, ruin the party, spoil it indeed, as Vivid has got that glide bomb.
Yeah, that's huge because you got to keep in mind Octane has the glide bomb for the LAD side, so glide bombs on both squads. As Vivid so far, he is dominating this game, 25 and 13. So really taking over, setting the tone for Boston Breach. They're going to pressure on towards B, but not able to stop them just in time. 1 minute and 45 to work with if you are the Thieves, up by 3 lives. You see the push that they're trying to execute, push through backfire, potentially set up for some spawn kills, and just most likely break Boston's setup.
What has been a very offensive-heavy start to this Berlin control. Will we finally see something different as Drazah peels Vivid off of that head glitch? Nero, the only player in ear's distance. As kills continue to rain in, that's going to be 3. Everybody wiped away off of the point, and you can kiss this round goodbye.
They just make it look so easy. Make it look so easy on their attacking rounds. When you slowly start to work up the middle of the map, you're playing your kills. When your teammate wins the gunfight, when he's flanking towards backfire, that's the opening that you're looking for, because everyone that's now pushed up towards trains has to turn around and pick up their flank, and that eventually allows the opening, the pinch, to come in for the Thieves. Yeah. To execute another great push towards that A point. They're so damn good at this map.
They are, man. You can see it. I mean, we're 3 for 3, and overall offenses to kick off this Berlin control, but 2 of them obviously coming in from the Thieves. They find themselves in the driver's seat. We're talking a lot about glide bombs, a few for either side. Well, Drazah could earn his. Falls off the 5 spree. Well, that hope of having a streak eventually does get ended. Maybe it's Envoy's turn to do some damage once more here in the train yard. Eager as ever pulls out the automaton and looks to go to work. The Thieves trying to plant themselves firmly in the backside of the spawn of Boston.
And right there, Envoy hits the same exact route that he did on their initial defensive side, and finds 3 kills once again to keep the map control in favor of the Thieves, force all of Boston to commit towards this beat point, but this time the Thieves are not going to give that live advantage. They're going to force them to try to break in. Currently up by 2 lives, but it's going to be 2 minutes to work with. It's all about maintaining this map control. When does Vivid decide to call in this glide bomb, or at least gain some of that back?
Oh, and needed that gunfight victory. Thankfully for Breach, it comes exactly when it has to. Thieves were knocking on the door, and they come through with a great few kills. Envoy now at 5, Octane on a 3. Breach position is going to be known, and they continue to get dominated, 25 to 18 in lives. Mid 30 on the clock, thankfully to deal with. But again, you've just got so many players stationed. I think we have a glide bomb coming in as well. That one from Vivid gets information, but no kills.
Yeah, you have to call that in to try to at least get out of your spawn, because the way that LADs are fully set up, every kill still going in their favor. Last player up, Octane is calling the streak. He at least knows the last player is going to be pushed in towards fire, cannot find the kill onto Methodz. Now if you're Boston Breach, you just have to try to get across to your teammate. But it's not going to be easy when the Thieves are just cutting you down left and right.
Yeah, man. It's like every time the Thieves are pushed up, if one player is stationed up forward, he at least gets 1, if not 2 kills. Making Boston's lives, once they get past that 50-yard line, that much more difficult as the kills continue to run on in. Envoy on 7 in a row. That's another glide bomb that the Thieves are going to have in their back pocket for what could be the final 40 seconds of this game. Boston in need of an answer, and it very well could come in from Vivid. Envoy still hunting inside of the spawns. He is yet to get dealt with. He has been here the entire round, Jay.
He's been dominating just map control right now. Here comes the glide bomb. Give your teammates the information of where they're going to attack this from. 2 players pushing in towards train. Envoy at least takes down 1. He's the cutoff man. Potentially he's going to put himself on a 10 spree to close out this map. Early shots, he runs out of bullets. That's how you know the guy is frying.
Hold on.
Boston able to get on the point. They're able to stop that clock.
Oh, and Envoy gets cut down as well. Are you serious? Boston, they've got everybody here. They've got everybody here.
Gotta go.
Take a look at that progress bar. It continues to roll. Breach, get their moment. They get their window of opportunity.
you do not expect that to happen, especially when you're calling in the glide bomb in the final 25 seconds. You get that initial kill, but no one else on Envoy's squad was able to pick up a kill. Boston Breach able to secure the attacking round, force all the way to round number 5. All attacks so far in this Berlin Control. Unbelievable.
What in God's name is Berlin Control? Vivid! How about the 3? We're talking a lot about glide bombs. He can have a streak as well.
First 6 in.
Breach come in aggressive as ever into this round number 5. And they are hungry for blood. They see the red on the other side. Vivid at 8. Methodz is there. The glide bomb is called in, for God's sake, in the middle of this round happening.
What?
And they did not capture A. They did not capture A.
That's a mistake right there. If you're Vivid, your gun is hot. You need to keep your gun up right there to at least help your teammate in those gunfights, because you don't know how close they are. But unfortunately, they were not able to complete this A point. Tonight gives a little bit of hope for the Thieves, knowing that they still have to defend A, but that one tick of progression is still going to be in the back of the mind. Kenny on the pitch, him and Envoy combined for 2. And if you're Boston Breach, you cannot allow those mistakes to happen.
And this is huge, right? This is huge. Methodz is the only player inside of the objective. If LAT are able to find a few of these, that could potentially start up a spawn trap. But Boston come away with 2 big kills. 48 seconds on the clock. As we said, the presence felt firmly at that A zone. Drazah, great kills from the flank. Able to find one on the TJ, and with those kills lining up the way that they do, Boston stack, and they will capture that B objective. LAT, thinking about lives, will hand that one on over. And Breach, 1 minute and 45 on the clock and 1 tick to go.
They have 3 lives more than the LA Thieves currently. Show what the Thieves are able to do last time. When they have this much back control, it's going to be difficult for you to try to get out. Methodz with that initial kill onto Envoy. A lot of pressure, at least through the middle of the map. This is going to force all of LA to start to turn around, but Vivid not going to slow down. He finds that initial. Cannot find the second onto Octane. So as long as you're LA Thieves, you just got to keep the trades in your favor. That was a jam.
We were bumping for a moment. I like that. I like that a lot, Jack. Minute on the clock. LAT still holding strong. These seconds continue to get away from them, almost playing like search and destroy rounds, given these neutral setups. But Breach in need of an answer. They were gifted that 4th round. And can they make the Thieves pay once more? Another crucial setup as Boston get all players set up and ready to go. A perfect and timely double comes in from Nero, and Vivid starting to flank. Somewhat of a pinch as Octane, he will get damaged as well. He gets brought down, City's here, runs out of ammo, and LAT clear the board.
That's just a big 2-piece from Octane. So these keep the trades in somewhat of their favor, but TJ with the beam, able to find a 2-piece. This might be the push that they were looking for. Final 30 seconds. Look how close the Thieves are spawning them.
And take a look at Vivid. Take a look at Vivid, the man in the back. Oh, Kitty! He's there to cut him down. 20 seconds left, but LAT, no respawns left. Every kill is permanent from this point forward. If you're Breach, it is chaos. It is chaos as Nero comes away with 2. 1 more player, and Boston fight back in one of the craziest controls we have seen all season long. We were ready for the game to be over in round number 4. Boston given a gift and a chance. They will run with it. And just like that, Breach claimed the round 5 and claimed the advantage up 2 games to 1.
Boston Breach have not played a Berlin Control with this new roster.
Ever.
They were number 1 on their attacking rounds, at least with Capsule, 75% win rate. And I was thinking, like, you're going to be against the Thieves roster all throughout Stage 4. They dominated this map. They were definitely the number 1 team going into this Berlin Control, but Vivid just takes over. 32 non-traded kills. Almost got a little scary when it cost them that glide bomb, but at least they were able to close it out. And that final push towards A If you are the Thieves, this is a difficult series now. You lose that very first respawn, which you're usually very good at.
Yeah.
You're losing your best control versus a team who hasn't played this map with this roster. 5 attacking rounds in a row is what we just saw.
Jay, we're talking about the map set in general. Tuscan Hardpoint, the auto veto for Breach. They never wanted to play it. They take it. As you said, Berlin Control, a map that they have never played with this team, and they just beat the best roster on it. As we said coming into this, what, the last 3 times the LAT had won it, it was sweeps. It was 3-0.
Clean 3-0. And if you just think about the way that they did it versus NYSL, those are like 5-minute maps every single time that they were playing that. They just could not find an answer on their defensive side. That's what usually causes them a struggle on this one, but just when you allow the SMGs to be super aggressive on the map, 2-piece after 2-piece from Vivid, and then at the final moments when Nero needed to initially start with that 2-piece of his own with that AR in his hand, they do just that. And Boston Breach, the underdogs in this series, are making a statement.
And you see what it means.
That's
Nero's getting loud. Vivid drops 41 kills. And the fans, despite being on the side of LAT, cannot believe what they just witnessed. As we said, man, one of the crazier Berlin controls that we have seen this year. And the Major 4 champions now look at a deficit. They now look at a 1-2 score. And granted, as we talked about, Berlin Hardpoint, I mean, Berlin in general is just great for the Thieves. But Boston love themselves some Berlin HP too, man.
Boston definitely love this map. Their overall record is sitting like 8-6. So if you are LA Thieves, you were not expecting to be in this position in this series. Down 2-1 by losing both of the respawns. You clutch up in the search and destroy. But if you saw what they were able to do at Major 4, they were playing flawless hardpoint, followed up by flawless control, which eventually led them to a championship. They were lacking in that map number 1 with their holds. You need to make sure if you're early off the rotation, you're set up properly. And on a map like Berlin, when you have those 3 ARs in hand, this is where they usually find a lot of success.
And to me, if you're Thieves, you also got to look out for Vivid. I feel like
that
Vivid
guy's
has
a man on a
been
mission.
On one in this series, especially in their game mode victories. We're going to take a look at hardpoint for both of our teams throughout stage 4. And granted, man, I mean, LA Thieves, obviously with the better record, you see the point differential, the KDs, the holds, etc. But that is a very solid, round. That is a very solid scoreline on the opposite side as well for Boston.
100%, because stage 4 is when they make this roster change. They bring Vivid into this roster so they can get better at respawns, and it definitely showed in their hardpoint and in their control. They slacked off in that search and destroy, but at least off that game number 2, they kept it pretty close. A couple rounds just got away from them, but this is the Boston Breach that we saw in the beginning of stage 4, coming out dominating with their SMGs, find themselves 1 map away from taking down the Major 4 champions.
Crazy, crazy scenes as the Breach and their first ever COD champs are looking to come away with the upset. We said it's been David versus Goliath all season, and it just feels like this game 4, they are coming in with some extra oomph. They're coming in with a little bit of something to prove to the entire CDL world. As here we go, buddy. What could be the final map in this series? Upset alert is on radar. To P1 we go.
With LA Thieves starting on the better side. Starting off with the better side on this map, pretty sure it's almost a 70% win rate. So they're gonna be here off the initial time. A lot of pressure though from Boston off the pinch. The trade is coming for Vivid, at least trying to take down one, cannot find the kill. So LA Thieves so far, they're holding strong. They're forcing all of Boston Breach to try to break this from the front. They've not allowed them to get all these kills, and that's exactly what happens. Beautiful break, 2 from TJ, 2 from Nero to finally get some time off P1.
In the Breach will elect to send a few of their members forward as well. Vivid, eager, and hungry to strike. Cuts down 2, and thank you, potentially, for the 3rd. He and his teammate, TJ, there to claim another. Boston grabbing the scrap seconds. The spawns will flip, and the Thieves will come in now toward P2. Still with a few stragglers to try and deal with. Nero gets dropped, and thankfully for the Thieves, they can allow for themselves to set up shop, but only for a moment.
Yeah, this is where Boston have to execute a break. I'm pretty sure they're the #1 team at breaking this hill on towards P2, and they do it just like that. Vivid with 2. They read the player on the flank, cannot find the kill, but they're still gaining time. Thieves not getting the better side of the spawns. Have to win their gunfights here, at least get themselves a good chunk of time here because you have to try to flip those spawns going into P3, but Boston are not going to give that one up easy.
Yeah, a great answer there for Thieves. You see Kenny YYing as crazy as ever. Doesn't matter if it's the AR or the SMG in his hands. This is where this guy can start to go on a run. You'll see that MP40, the Automaton, switching back and forth throughout our hard points, throughout our different situations. Boston still holding on to these spawns, but Drazah looking to make a sizable dent. Will stay alive just on a few bits of health. Methodz falls, and now Drazah, the sole man, he and Kenny gonna have to do a lot of damage. And hopefully that is not gonna happen.
So now off the rotation, Boston Breach. Initially here for the time. Methodz gonna be the player pushed out all the way deep towards water. Not gonna allow any players to try to flip these spawns on the side of Thieves. That initial kill, they find onto TJ, they get somewhat fire control. Pressure's gonna be here from fire and from the front. What can Vivid do? He can't do much as the spawns flip LADs take control.
That's a huge break coming in from Thieves. We came into this with a lot of different stats, and P3 has not treated the Thieves kindly, at least as of late. A massive opening as Boston look to fire back on through. They still have those close spawns as Methodz starting to go on a roll. Drops in a crucial gunfight. Thankfully, his teammate is there for the trade. No glide bomb for Boston, but they at least will have the scraps.
Yeah, the final 15 is going to be theirs. TJ is actually going to sneak his way into the back right house, but at the same time, Octane just cut down 2 of his teammates, all 3 players down. So everyone's still spawning across the map. Don't know if they know the positioning of TJHaly. But his job right now is to simply just stay alive, wait for his teammates to get a little bit closer before he decides to engage.
Begins to strike. Great moment there for TJ, but eventually found out, eventually sniffed out. There for Breach, and I was going to say, take a look at the bottom left of your screen. How those arrows, where they spawn up at. Boston did have a few players for the top warehouse side. However, those spawns not going to be as kind as you'd like if you are a Breach fan. But they're going to rely on that brute force to try to get their way through the trains, get their way through the train station. Octane able to find a soaring Zinni throughout these Berlin skies. A nice little spree granted for Octane, as now he's on a 6.
And this is usually the way LAD start to run away with this map. As Octane picks up that kill for the glide bomb. Great hold so far on this P4. Pretty sure they're the best P4 team in the game on Berlin hardpoint, but already up by 42 points. It's going to come down to this P5. They initially do a great job of just not allowing the opposite team to get a good chunk of time. LADs, they average about 24 seconds off this P5. But their main focus has to be flipping those spawns so they can at least get control of P1.
Yeah, that's the thing if you're Thieves heading into this P5. As you said, you want to get time, but you also want to think about those spawns. A very big moment in the game right now for LAD. Let's step aside and see how the mindset sounds, how the communication sounds with the boys of Thieves.
Are you A-long late? I'll say I'm on fire tank. I'm on fire tank.
I got time.
I'm on fire tank right now.
A-long, bros? I got it.
It could be above me fire.
Out on me, Zinni. After bear on me. Just hold your... I'm
I'm trying to put you 2 A-long on you. They're going to try you.
Yeah, Charlie. I got one more. Charlie time 7.
One's in fire on me, in fire on me. One's above me, in fire above me.
Zinni to the guy, bro.
One's in fire above me.
Got it.
One's in fire on me still.
I got 3.
Nice, good shit. I'm top 3 fire.
Nice, guys.
Dead.
Nice.
I'm top 3 fire. Just right now. They spawned here.
D1, bro. D1. Go.
Well, the Thieves weren't able to flip the spawns. They at least got a lot of time over at P5, firmly in the driver's seat. But now for the Boston Breach, down by 60, but a hard point that can get them there is this very one that they sit in right now. Let's go to the other side of the stage and listen with the Breach.
One shot Envoy. Envoy's one shot down.
Alley door office right now.
Envoy's one shot down.
Office.
Nate office, guys.
Nate office, yeah.
Absolutely.
Office one shot down. Envoy's on like a 4 or 5.
Yeah, I did it right window here.
Take a look.
I did it right
Envoy's
window.
on 5. Envoy's on 5.
How much you gonna do?
This is good time. I don't see him at all, guys.
I'm already going
How
now.
much happy is on
Right pillar in office.
I'll see. Okay, statue 1P5. Statue 1P5.
Statue one shot, 1v5, yeah.
5 draws.
That's one street, guys.
That's one.
Top P5 on you. I just want training room. I just want training handshake. Pick Envoy.
Envoy's the streak. Envoy's the streak. One shot low
Dox me, yeah, low dox.
And Drazah's the people.
I spawn warehouse, guys. Dox me.
They're fine. Kenny's old, or Octane's old, and all you guys are like street.
Dox him.
Well, Jay, those comps sound pretty dead.
Yeah, definitely dead when you're allowing the LA Thieves to get break after break, especially on a money hill like P1. They were able to grow this lead wide open. But at least the biggest thing that I took away from Boston Breach is that no one is getting overhyped. Usually when you're playing your first match at Champs, you're gonna give it everything that you got. Right there, you heard Nero just calm, cool, and collected, giving the comms that he needs to try to allow Boston to fight back into this one.
Yeah, trying to remain calm, trying to remain composed after what was a dominant run in those last few HPs out of the Thieves. Boston still trying to fight. As we said, they find themselves with just one map left to take down the defending champions, and maybe Nero leading by example. Started off this hard point a little slow, but little by little, they started to even out that score line a bit. These final 10 seconds are great. I mean, they're able to break into this hard point. They've also got spawns for next as well. Octane is gonna have that glide bomb in the back pocket. You fully expect him to potentially use it in this upcoming HP. A map-defining hard point covered up next.
Yeah, this hard point is everything right here for the Thieves, so the glide bomb is gonna get invested. Should be able to take TJ down towards the slower dock side, so the pressure is going to be in from the Thieves. They're trying to flip these spawns, but one player does spawn right behind Kenny. He's able to get that pinch, shut that one down, and even though the spawns do flip, Boston Breach, they're doing a great job of just holding this hard point, only down by 25 points now.
Oh, this is going to be a brawl. This is going to be an absolute brawl. 3 answered for Thieves. The sole man alive is the captain, and he will get found out as well. The streak comes forward, and the Thieves come rifling in toward fire. They did it on the first side of rotation, and they're doing it again. A much-needed answer here out of LAT, and they will strike, knocking on the door of 200 seconds as we head in toward P4 now.
Going in towards P4 is going to be Boston, at least initially set up for this one. Methodz with a huge 2-piece off that rotation. Going to relieve some of that pressure from Thieves. Trying to attack this towards water side and potentially flip these spawns, but now it's time for the second glide bomb. Time to invest this, get these guys off this time. They're gonna put pressure on through trains. Envoy finds that kill onto Vivid, and Octane with the great AR shots to take down Nero. That's gonna be 3, make it all 4 dead. A perfect break right there from the Thieves.
Absolutely sensational work out of the Thieves to utilize those streaks that they have had. And it has netted them all kinds of success. And now Octane, he finds himself on 5 in a row. Having a phenomenal game, by the way, at 30 and 15. Double positive as 20 very valuable seconds lay in wait. And for the Breach, they are starving for some points, but the Thieves eager to watch them hit the deck again. 30 points away from sending us to a game 5. LAT inching closer and closer. Boston are going to have to pull off some heroics to make this one even close now, Jim.
Yeah, Boston needs to fight for a lot of this P5 time and maintain the spawns going into that P1. That's what this map usually does come down to, that chain. But right now, LA Thieves, they're just soaking as much as they possibly can, getting closer and closer to that 250-point mark. That's going to be 3 down, and they're coming to a very close line to close it out on this P5.
It looks like it's going to be here, the final stand for Thieves. A few more seconds left before this one sends us to a game 5. Just how you wanted to see them respond after a very shaky Berlin control loss. It's a quick turnaround, multiple players on streaks. Everything you wanted and more is what you saw in that Berlin hardpoint. If you're an LAT fan, Jay, when it comes down to playing streaks, to dominant slaying, and to overall hardpoint breaks.
It was all about that ending of the first rotation of hardpoints. When they broke that P3, they got about 20 to 25 seconds there, and then initially set up for that P4, which is usually their money hill. They were able to pull this game right away from Boston Breach. Then you get to the P5, they were getting a lot of time. If you're Boston Breach, I know you're trying to maintain the spawns to try to get towards that P1, but you could not give up that much time on P5, because that's when LA Thieves are gonna be able to walk away with it. They get the break on towards P1. Boston simply could not execute a hold, even though they tried to fight back through that P3 and that P2. Just when you have that many streaks on the side of LA Thieves, it's not gonna be easy. Those are the things that are gonna break their setup every single time, and even if they have the early rotation, just wasn't enough with the guns, even in a 3v4 situation, to hold that one down. So LA Thieves do exactly what they usually do on Berlin Hardpoint, which is dominate. Now they force a game 5.
It only took us to get to map 4 before it felt like we finally saw the LA Thieves in their major 4 form. Some excellent work out of those boys to get us now to a game 5. A spicy one indeed. A top 6 guaranteed placement is on the cards as well When we come back after this break, it is time for some good old Tuscan Search and Destroy. Make sure and stay with us.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official communication partner of the Call of Duty League. And AimLab, official first-person training partner of the Call of Duty League. Unleash your potential.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Game 5 time. LA Thieves versus the Boston Breach. to find out who gets top 6 guaranteed and who is headed down to a very treacherous elimination bracket. What a series it has been up to this point. Lando and Standy, we've been guiding you guys throughout the action. Jay, we had an hour-long break, and now we're being gifted a good old Game 5. Thank you very much.
I feel like this is going to be like Major 4, man. We have the best teams. Game 5 after Game 5. Another one. Word to TJHaly. This is going to be a banger.
This is going to be a banger between both of these teams because obviously, when you're talking about the LA Thieves on this map, all throughout Stage 4, they go undefeated. They go 3-0 compared to Boston, who go 2-2. But if you're Boston Breach, you just have to think about that map number 2.
Yeah.
Think about how that game got away from you. It's because you were being a little bit over-aggressive in certain situations. Octane so far, 1.25. The guy really took off in that map number 4. Dominates in that Berlin, but for both of these squads, I think the biggest thing that I took away from Thieves watching them throughout Stage 4 was the neutral setups. They have an overall win percentage of 66% with a 66% first blood rate. So to get that first blood, slow the game down, that's how they find success.
One team could look to slow the game down, and arguably for Boston, they want to try to instantly push that pace. Nero, the guy we'll be talking about a lot throughout this Game 5, oftentimes involved in those first bloods. Wanting to be in that first engagement with Thieves. Living up to their name, Jay. They know what they see success on, which is playing the slow game. Nobody get to drop in round 1.
Yeah, right now Boston, they take full control of A. Not make it easy as they try to attack this through field. They find the first get onto Nero, but this allows Vivid to strike. Vivid evens up the numbers, makes it 3v3. Oh, eventually Kenny takes him down. Bomb is gonna get planted 3v2 in favor of the Thieves.
And now for Boston, it's up to the vets early. Methodz tagged up, but not dropped. Meanwhile, it's TJ lingering out through the fields. Great stun toss, rather a great stun toss as Arcitys able to escape with his life for a moment. TJ gets dealt with, and now it is all on to Chef Tony. And the Thieves, calm, cool, collected. Round 1 belongs to them.
Just take their time, get the first blood, and then play the trades at that point. Exactly what they do to find success on their attacking rounds. As Thieves now put themselves up 1-0. For Boston Breach, you are a little bit better on your attacking rounds, 54% overall compared to defense, where you are 50%. Usually their go-to has to be going towards that B site. 70% win rate when they're taking that bomb towards B.
See if they look to pull that strategy out. See if LAT has done their homework. Well, that's done. We'll at least give them all the information that they need. Kenny backs on up, aware of the push that could come in just a moment's notice.
Just gonna take his time. Boston, not trying to give up everything. We love you too.
Love you lots.
There's only a minute left on the clock. Bomb looked like it initially was gonna go towards that B bomb, but start to reposition themselves, work towards bottom fountain, trying to play for mid-map control.
Oh, it's just a matter of time before they open the door at P5. They just did it. Oh, and Kenny's here, but Octane is as well. How about the LA Thieves? The duo say we are back again. A statement. Round number 2. And my goodness, what a round it was.
And that's all communication right there. We thought once Kenny drops down from the railing, he's gonna get bad timing, not really get the information of how many players are gonna attack this through that P5 area, but it sets up Octane. He said, I'm gonna drop Octane now, you cover that line of sight, I will take control of towards green.
And Jay, from a fellow sniper, watching that first player cross.
It's just clean, man.
Yeah, I mean, the hold down. The irons in that moment, right? To hold down the scope, to not just go with the first player that you see, but to lock it down. Such impressive stuff out of Octane. Meanwhile, Kenny, strong to start off our first 2 rounds. But Methodz will be able to answer for our first blood. And LAT, well, they go back and grab the bomb.
Down to 3v4. You don't have Octane. He's usually the island player, taking his time towards that field side. You have to at least play for some kind of information. He's gonna have the boom stick right in his hand. He finds the kill onto TJ as well. LA Thieves with snipers in hand are great, but Methodz and Vivid, they find 2, 3v1, all left up to Quavo Kenny.
Up to Quavo, Kylo, Mr. YY, all the nicknames in the world, but can he come away? Now is the clutch master. A 1v3, 30 seconds to go. Bomb still yet to be grabbed, and here comes the first engagement. able to find it. Keeping in mind, he's on a 5 spree, so definitely wants to go for the round victory, but could suffice for a streak extension as 2 players are about to enter in. Maybe a second different, Jay, and that could be a totally different round.
Yeah, that was getting a little scary right there if you're Boston Breach, but they had the information that the bomb is going to be down. Let's play the buddy system, play for the trade. Nero and Vivid eventually link up. A beat down comes in from Vivid, and Nero with the final couple of shots, able to take the round for Boston. First blood finally going in their favor, secures them the round.
Thankfully, they also deny the streak. Again, we're talking about for Kenny. You at least want to walk away with the round. Maybe the streak extension does not get either of those things. In Boston, going back to that B site. Last time around, it was the Octane and Kenny show. And will it be that same thing? Because they are both the closest players toward this B site. Boston still have a few stragglers hanging out toward middle, lining up the nades, praying for a first blood, but nothing granted yet.
Right now, at least Vivid from top P5. Trying to hold that head glitch just in case the guy decides to peek towards that A site, but Drazah with that first blood. Already, another first blood, but Vivid's great shots. Or at least even up the numbers. Methodz with the trade. Also onto Envoy, so now in the 2v2, 40 seconds to work with. Bomb is going to be down towards the middle of the map.
Yes, fully in the very center of the map. Somewhat of a no man's land is Vivid. Nice and careful. Okay, second time. Eventually gets it, realizes, hey, maybe this is a little more open than I thought. Looks to get aggressive, and that is where the Thieves will punish you. All on the Methodz.
Okay.
Now to 1v2. Brings it now versus Kenny. Looks to get that objective down as well. Kenny is going to be here nice and fast. Jumps from the top. Hot on his heels. The engagement is here. Methodz able to stay alive though, Jay.
He's able to stay alive. Kenny does not commit towards the defuse as well. So Methodz with the repositioning, able to put down a couple shots. What you want to do is just play your life as long as you can. 25 seconds and counting. Kenny knows the positioning of where he is. Just does he get the great timing on when the challenge is going to come in? He actually thinks he rotates this all the way towards fire.
Oh, hop on it. He'll hop on it, and Methodz coming away with the 1v2. Took quite a few bullets in that round. He's known as Chef Tony, but looked like Iron Man. Tony Stark, the master of machine and cuisine, will give the Boston Breach a much-needed round. The clutch coming away from the vet.
The captain stepping up in this game 5. He's been in multiple of these moments in his career. Keeping the young guns in this one. Huge 1v2. To find himself on a 3 spree. It's usually the player shuts down this middle of the map. Last time he did get that first one onto Octane, but Octane's not going to give this one up easy. But this is the go-to strat right here for the Thieves. Spread the map, take control of bottom fountain, try to catch any players trying to be aggressive through the middle of the map. The Boston Breach, no one's going to be out there. They're all focused on that field side.
And this is very well a hot spot for our first bloods. A great toss comes in from Kenny. Vivid will live to see another day, live to see another round. The Breach on the defensive end will now have to work off the man disadvantage. Methodz versus Octane. Takes the head clean off, and Drazah will take down the teammate. Now a 3v2. Oh, but Kenny with another crucial kill. 30 seconds left. And they've got a lot of room to work with.
And I think TJ actually has the sniper in hand. He was able to get a hit marker. So unfortunately, it only took one shot for Drazah to get that team.
Here we go.
Here's the battle.
Here we go. Kenny is behind both of them. It's going to be awarded for one, but now it's a 1v1. Oh, Kenny! The cleanest of shots. Found himself with great timing on the Breach, and we'll get to see this one again. Stays alive, 45 HP, and slides in with confidence. LAT up 3 rounds to 2.
LA Thieves, right there, Drazah specifically just puts down a lot of shots to have that player one shot. So Kenny could go for the challenge, but this time around, TJ, with the sniper in hand, is able to get his first kill of the map. First blood going to go in favor of Boston, but after Boston, just slowly try to work this one up. Do not allow a playmaker to make plays, and that's exactly what Envoy's going to try to do. But TJ with the pistol makes it a 4v2.
Rat-tat-tat-tat, great work coming in from Tej. Granted, Kenny at least is able to find Vivid, so a 2v4 turned to a 2v3. And still a job to do if you're Boston. Octane and Methodz, they've seen each other in both of these locations, Top Fire and Top Church, so many times. And with that continuous
Kenny
talk that we've been discussing, the conversation between both of these players, Kenny's gonna have information, but he can't clean up the kill.
Can't pick up the kill, so now they know he's the player committing towards the flank, and Boston are gonna not commit towards this A-bomb, gonna try to push it all the way to B. So now this should fall in the hands of Octane. Player closest towards this site, cannot allow this bomb to go down. Gonna slide right behind the player committing towards the climb up the ladder. Now the bomb is gonna get planted for Boston. TJ finds that first 1v3, all left up to Kenny.
He's been having a game though. I mean, this is the one player, I guess, if you're Thieves, that you want to have alive at a 1v3, but timing will work out for the breach. A 3 versus 2, and they say, you know what? We are facing off against some very experienced players on the other side of the stage. 2 guys who have brought banners to this Thieves organization. They avoid them, they get down the bomb. And just like that, Boston once more even the scoreline, Jay. We were just going back and forth.
Back and forth this entire game 5 so far. Right there was all on TJ though. Not really having the best game 5 to start, but pulls out the sniper, gets that initial first blood, and then shuts down Envoy. He was trying to make a play, also finds another kill to give him 3 on the round. So 3-3, all-out pressure from LA Thieves to top V5. It's gonna be on Nero. At least try to take down one or get out with his life, but Methodz here for a little bit of team fires, not able to get that initial kill.
Oh, and how about the nade? Another team kill comes in from the Thieves. Nero strikes early, and I think maybe the bomb that was being cooked from Kenny at the time falls and also eliminates Envoy, a 2-for-1 special for Boston. Another man disadvantage in the Thieves. A frustrating start to this round number 7. Are gonna have to find a pick. And all of that starts with maybe getting the bomb down early.
2v4 now, 35 seconds and counting. The bomb is gonna get planted towards A. Boston are just gonna give this one up. Play for the 4v2 retake. They have the man advantage. Just do not want to lose the trades. Do not give one-on-one gunfights to make this a manageable round for the Thieves. Time is still ticking, but Methodz with great shots onto Octane, all left up to Drazah in the 1v4.
They're just gonna hop on the defuse. They're gonna hop on the defuse. Drazah needs him to strike for the first. 20 seconds left. Someone's gonna have to go and challenge him. Someone's gonna have to try to take him down. Finds another one on the Tej.
No way.
There is 15 seconds left.
No way.
And the breach have got to get on this defuse, and they will barely, despite having a 4v1, I mean, a few more bullets, maybe 1 or 2 at that, Jay. And we are talking about a 1v4. Sweat off the brow if you're Boston.
100%,
Wow.
because right there, no one was committing towards the flank, towards top fire. Everyone was playing towards that site. Was trying to body stack, not give any easy kills to Drazah. And he was just picking them apart one by one. Right there, it all just comes down to Nero, his reposition to jump on that male fire tank. Puts himself in a greater spot to find that kill. As Boston now find themselves up 4-3. Back on the attack, early pressure over towards that field side, but TJ trying to get another first blood with this snipe in hand. Unfortunately, needs multiple nades on the side of the Thieves. Kenny with the first blood.
Yeah, thankfully for Thieves, you at least didn't, you know, kill your own teammates. That's a great start. You got the first blood, and you didn't do what I guess you didn't really want to do. Love you too, by the way. Boston breach. Sniper in hand for Vivid. Also bomb in hand as well. He's got his hands quite full. All that could start to spill here in a moment. Aggressive and hungry as Vivid goes flying. Brings it now to a 2v4. Methodz and Nero, last players alive.
2v4 down. Octane is at least able to spot Nero, trying to be aggressive towards bottom church. Plays the repositioning and works out perfectly. Because now it's Methodz left in the 1v4. Bomb is going to be down. He knows the positioning of Envoy, but not able to pick up the kill. LA Thieves. Very, very clean round right there on the defensive end. No one drops. They tied up 4.
Looking at that scoreline, man, it just makes me smile. Like, what a series this has been.
Yeah.
Now at 4-4. And this is where, I mean, really, you give yourself a chance to close out this entire series. Whoever's able to go up 5-4, what a massive advantage that you put yourselves in. The Thieves will come into this 9th round on the attack. And maybe with a B site push in mind, the only player that's going to be an ear's distance of that right now sits the rookie in Nero. Hanging out firmly toward that B site. Methodz leaving himself flexible. He's got the ability to go to either site that he would like. Thieves starting to stampede through middle now.
Taking their time, trying to take control of the middle of the map, and I'm pretty sure Methodz, every time he switches up his positioning, he's just getting bad timing, but at least evens up the numbers, makes it a 3v3. Bomb gonna be down towards that A site. So now if you're Boston Breach, let's just regroup, try to execute this as a team. Do not give one-on-one gunfights, but Kenny, he might be in.
Oh, he's wide-wadding as he comes into P5. Not the weapon of choice, and Nero there to silence him. All on to Breach now in this retake. Octane called upon early.
What a read.
Now brings the numbers to even. Methodz and TJ versus Octane and Drazah. LaRue hits the deck. And now it is all on the Alaskan Assassin. 1v2, 20 seconds to go.
20 seconds. All you have to do is get this player off bomb. No one's gonna be on it. So right now, Boston Breach is wasting a lot of time just trying to check everywhere that he could potentially be. All you need is one kill if you're Drazah. Get one and get out. He does exactly that. And there's not gonna be any time to stick the defuse. Drazah with the plays. So now put LAT up 5-4 at game point after a crazy 1v2 clutch.
Flex on him for me, Drazah. I mean, what, he had a near 1v4 earlier? Feeling all kinds of comfortable. When the game and the series sits in balance, a massive clutch coming in from this guy. As now the Thieves up 5 rounds to 4. One more is all it takes, and they invest a lot over toward the well side. Nade's utility tossed early, but it's Vivid who's able to strike for the first.
Right there,
first blood granted, but Kenny falls.
Kenny falls, so now to 4v2. Envoy tries to attack. He gets taken down. Now it's all left up to Octane. He does find that first kill with the snipe, but the bomb is gonna go down towards that 8 point. 1v4. If he can close this one out with the sniper pistol in hand, he's gonna be able to pick up that 40. Just look at how much map control right now Boston have. One player committing towards the flank. It's gonna be Methodz, and Boston Breach take the round after a great initial push, doing their homework on the Thieves, knowing that they like to be aggressive in towards bottom fountain. They get that first blood with the nade. They win the trade engagements, and they come out on top to now force round 11.
Game 5, round 11. Boston Breach, LA Thieves, Galen Center. Get on your feet.
Oh yeah.
Now. Who is moving forward in winners and who is headed to the elimination bracket? Both teams with stories, and they look to try and continue here at Champs, and an early exit would toss a lot of negativity into those plans. Boston Breach coming to this overtime on the attack, and they are playing this one very, very slow, Jay.
They're just taking their time. They do not want to give up another first blood because currently it's 7-3 in favor of the Thieves. These are the rounds that you could not afford to make any mistakes. The nade is coming. It's going to be able to back down Octane. But 45 seconds, the crowd is into it. I don't even know if Boston Breach can think right now with how loud the venue is.
And that makes you wonder as well, in these overtime type of situations, who is going to have the ice to start off this round? Drazah does reveal the position. A bit of the AR shots expressed early, and here come Boston firing through middle. It's Envoy who's able to strike for the first to Breach. They begin to collapse. They begin to collapse as that will be 3. Vivid now in a 1v4. It all comes top 6. And the Major 4 champions, the defending champions, escape what could have been peril.
What a round 11 it was for both of these teams. They wasted a minute on the clock before anyone initially tried to do anything on the map. But right there, LA Thieves is too strong on their defensive holds. You have one player committing towards that field side, one player in TJ who's watching towards the middle of the map. Octane eventually gives up middle just so he can simply focus on that B push. When you allow your teammates to start off with the initial gunfight, pretty sure it was 8-3 in overall first bloods on this game number 5. As LA Thieves, you're right, man, are able to clutch up in this search and destroy. And if you would have asked me before this series, obviously we know the history between both of these squads hasn't been favored at all on Boston Breach side. A lot of their series probably 20-25 minutes whenever they're playing against the Thieves. But to come out here, win 2 respawns versus one of the better teams in respawn at their better maps, Boston Breach are not a team to mess around with. Just a couple of things that they have to fix in search and destroy. When you're having such slow rounds like that, you cannot afford to get first blooded, and that eventually is what costs them both search and destroys.
Yeah, that is it's a heartbreaking way to go out, man. It's a heartbreaking way to go out of the winner's bracket. Obviously, Boston still alive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're still going to be alive in an elimination bracket, but it just felt like the momentum was there, right? They get gifted that control. They're able to send us to a game 4. They really don't answer when it comes down to that Berlin, and we come into this game 5. And this Thieves team, who, as we said, has really started to try to make themselves as complete as possible coming into the later stages of this season. A team once laughed at in Search and Destroy, rely on 2 to get away with this series.
And I know if you're JCap and the entire coaching staff, you're going back immediately and watching that series, because there was a lot of mistakes LA Thieves were making throughout that entire series from map to map that costed them a bunch of them, especially in that map number 1. If they get some holds on some hard points, this probably doesn't go all the way to the distance. So they have a couple of things that they want to fix to make sure they're at the tippity top of their game, continuing going forward.
Yeah, close, but not close enough if you're Boston LAT, sweat off the brow as they'll move forward, guaranteed top 6. But hey, that's going to do it for us. It was a long break, but it was a great, great series that we got in return. As now we send it over toward the stage, our Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. It is Blaze, joined alongside by Drazah.
Thank you so much for a fantastic cast, Lando and Study. Los Angeles, give it up for your LA Thieves, continuing that win streak. As I'm on the stage with the Alaskan assassin himself, Drazah. In this series, it wasn't looking good for y'all in the response to start it off. Talk to me a little bit about those first 4 maps and how y'all kind of got it to that map 5 after losing the control the way that y'all did.
Yeah, obviously we got to. Sometimes we start off slow in map 1s, and I think the S&D really brought us back into the series, and we had that Berlin control pretty free, and I think we lost like an 8 to like 19 life lead, and it was like 20 or maybe even 10 seconds left, so we just got to make sure that we hard play our kills after we've done so much in the round, and then just do the easy shit.
Let the objective play itself there towards the end.
Exactly.
And now you come over towards map 5, where it's search and destroy, another objective game mode, but you guys played it so well, tied up 4-4 at the end. You come out with a beautiful double kill to help get that round 5. Tell me about how the team was kind of playing in those last few rounds to kind of clutch up.
Yeah, that was a huge match. Obviously, going to losers is a very tough run, so I think we all just like stayed composed. We knew we choked them, control, which brought us into the map 5. But I think we just stayed communicating to each other and just like played together, and that's really what made us win.
Yeah, and I know that's doing a lot for the confidence of this squad coming off that Major 4 victory. Any words you want to give to this LA crowd?
You guys are insane. That 5-5, you guys were going crazy. I can hear you guys. You guys are insane. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely insane. That's going to do it for me and Drazah on the stage. Des, take it away.
Woo! Thank you very much, Guy. Well, welcome back to the Game Break presented by Prime Gaming. That was, I don't know, where do we start, guys? That was a banger. It was a banger.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
No, that was a super tense series. I think, especially what was said from the casters, from Jay and Lando, there was a lot of mistakes, though. It has to be said. Thieves will be very happy to get through that.
Wins a win.
But it was very much a game that they got through, not that they won, so to speak. You
wanted to be a bit more comfortable in the finish. But hey, man, a win's a win. We'll take it for now. And oh, man, that was sweating. I can't imagine. I saw it, and there's a lot of the fans out there, tons of LA Thieves fans showing up. Amazing turnout. That was a nail biter for sure. And I mean, aLLeY, sorry, aLLeY, you were losing it up here. This was a stressful series for everyone.
I will say, like, I'm going to echo Drazah in the fact that the crowd in that 5-5 was insane. There was not a lot of Boston fans in this building, but in that last 5-5, it went from let's go Thieves, let's go Boston, let's go Thieves. Like, they just kept going back and forth. That was probably like the coolest crowd chant I've heard so far, but it's good to see LA Thieves is still riding momentum from Major 4, right? They still made a lot of mistakes in the series, but it's the search and destroys that continue to pull them through. I said that's what's going to be decisive in this series, and although Boston looked better in their search and destroy, LA Thieves, your Major 4 champions, are still running on the hill. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, we're going to now dive over towards our Scuff play of the game. All of this was going to be given to Drazah, and the man went off. I think it was a 2v1, unreal stuff.
Yeah, dude, the guy 1v2s, and he just plays like, you're not going to expect him to be in this corner because the way he plants the bomb. I mean, they went all the way around through spawn, right? They checked top Røkkr. They thought he'd probably be in church somewhere, so they don't have enough time to really search for him, and he just comes from behind, pops the two-piece. But I just want to talk about LA Thieves and their search and destroy game throughout this. Like, there was a moment on that game 2 Desert Siege, I thought they were going to lose it. Like, they were giving up mid-map control, castle, and you saw Boston was bleeding them out. Pivot was picking up the first bloods, and LA Thieves, they adjust their gameplay. They started to take mid, and they win that map, and then going into that game 5. Like, that was a tough round 11. Like, these guys had to get the Drazah 1v2 in the round 11. They throw all their util early in the round, and then you see Boston had their nades. They threw all their nades over at him on the statue side, and they back him down, but they don't commit to it. And Thieves just put them in the gauntlet chokehold and win that round 11, man. Just a beautiful adjustment out of the LA Thieves.
They had to tap out in the end, man. They had to. That was, of course, our Scuff play of the game. Now we take a look at our Game Fuel tactical play. This is going to be another crazy 3-piece from that insane series. Vivid. The man put up the work. This was, of course, coming from the Desert Siege Search and Destroy.
Yeah, unfortunately they weren't able to pull it back, but LA Thieves got a big lead when it came to this map, and Boston Breach called their way back in it, and it was off the back of Vivid.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we were talking about the 3-pieces from Vivid as well. A huge moment in the control on top of things as well. He had a good series. I mean, there's so many times, though, that we've seen him make plays like this in this Search and Destroy, but we were talking about it in that map number 5. He was having a bad time in map 5.
He was just making some rogue plays, and we saw him push Statue by himself like they get a kill, and he tried to make a hero play pushing through. I mean, it's because his gun was hot, right? Like, those are the things you'll learn at a tournament like Champs. People are going to be, they know where you're going to be coming from, right? Like, they know Vivid's trying to make plays, trying to be that hero, and these are veterans. They shut him down there in that game 5, so tough one for him.
Also, what is it about that B-bomb site on Desert Siege right now? We've seen 2 players get absolutely world-starred in very similar situations. How many more before the week is out? We'll find out, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, what an unbelievable series. We will march onwards. We've got another one. I'm sure if you heard, of course, we have OpTic Texas versus the Toronto Ultra coming up just after this. Guys, can't wait. Any sort of high-level vibes there? aLLeY, we'll start with you.
I mean, this is going to be kind of a prove-it series for me when it comes to OpTic. Again, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, but while you watch, Miles, you can earn. What can they earn?
Oh my goodness, look at that plethora of goodies on screen. We've got watches, we've got donut charms, shout out Sam LaRue, we've got chips, we've got all sorts of goodies, and look at all of those calling cards. Make sure you've linked your YouTube accounts and your Activision accounts while watching. I saw a guy in the crowd on his phone watching on Wi-Fi right now because he wants to get these rewards as well. That's passion. 200 IQ to you, sir or madam, can tell a distance. But don't forget, friends, not only do we have all kinds of goodies, an MW2 reveal teaser is on its way. Be sure to tune in on Championship Sunday, a special segment on Modern Warfare 2. Get an inside look at what is next for the Call of Duty franchise with a special guest interview. It isn't Kanye West. I know what you're thinking, but it
might be.
Hey, it might be. While we decide on who's going to be the special guest upcoming there for tomorrow, we're going to throw it a quick break. On the other side, we've got a good one. OpTic Texas, Toronto Ultra, a storied rivalry between 2 teams who just love going to Game 5 with one another. We'll find out what happens after the break.